and girls from all around Eatontown, New Jersey, or all over the United States. It's your boy Ali Midawi, and we are right here, right now at the ME Studios with a brand new episode of the ME Show. And I am super excited because I have a hero, a shero, a superstar, an amazing Black therapist. But before we get into that, I want you to know that this whole month of February, I am super excited to feature some of the greatest in our town, our unsung heroes, African American and people of minority, because it is important to bring them in the forefront. As amazing as this rock star is, and I've known her, you ready for it? Since 2003. Yeah, you heard that right. 2003. That was a long time ago before this crown of gray started showing up and the babies are running around. But Tatiana Grant is not only a therapist locally here, but she's one of the most not only vocal individuals that I know about doing the right thing, regardless of the political sides, regardless of the noise. She always looks out for the little guy or the little gal. And she is one of the people that says what she means and means what she says. There is no fluff, there is no hype, and there is no gimmick. And I'm super excited. And I'll be honest with you, I've been chasing her for this exclusive for,
you have.
I don't even know how long, but I'm like, yo, come through. I'm right around the corner. We go to the same church. We bump into each other. We graduated the same year. Right. She's known my wife since high school as much as I have. But I'm super excited, grateful for you to give me the opportunity to finally, for the love of God, tell the world what I've known and how great you are.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
While she is working out of Fairhaven, I want you to know that you need to reach out to her, and we're going to give you the website. As a matter of fact, if you're driving, do not touch your phone. I care about you alive more than I care about you educated. But in the actual description that is along with this episode, there will be her website. And the best part about this, I got her to hook you up with 15 minutes one-on-one. I'll tell you a little bit more about that as we get closer to the call to action. But let me go ahead and get started into this amazing, incredible exclusive. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to have you in here. Of course. Now,
that is true.
Can you share with the world a little bit about your background, your story, if you will, where it all began, and whatever you want to share with our audience?
Sure. I am a 2011 graduate from Fairleigh Dickinson University, the TNET campus, where I got my Bachelor's of Arts in psychology with a minor in English. And then I received my Master's of Mental Health Counseling in 2015 from Monmouth University.
Let's go. TNEC, huh? You drove or you actually were?
I stayed on campus.
Sweet. So it was a little bit of party life. All right, I got you. I'm mad at you.
Balance.
I didn't do the 4-year party, but okay, we'll keep it there. So you stayed in New Jersey though throughout your whole collegiate career and so on, because a lot of people
that is correct. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, and if you were to verify something for us, most people when they go to college, as a matter of fact, statistics show that 67% of college educated individuals change their focus or their major within their first year. Did you go into the field that you are working in from the get? Did you know this is what you wanted to do?
Absolutely not.
All right. So
I was one of those people who changed their majors. I changed the college that I went to.
Yeah.
So I started off in pre-med. I really wanted to help people. I love science and I wanted to become a pediatrician. However, my kryptonite is math. I'm not the greatest in mathematics, so that posed a problem. I had enough credits where I could then switch to nursing. And I did nursing and it was nice, but it still just didn't feel like my passion. And when you're a nursing major, you have to take a psychology course. So I took a psychology course.
And by accident,
I fell in love with the psychology counseling field. And I was like, this is it. This is my calling. I still get to help people. There's not a lot of math involved. And I stuck it out and I became a licensed professional counselor.
And it's been 13 years now?
Just about, yes.
God is so good. Okay, so let me dive a little bit. Your area of focus, from what I understand, is children's and adolescents. Am I correct?
That is correct.
Was that the focus from the get, or is there, a path that got you there? Walk us through that milestones that led you to where you are.
I've always loved working with children and adolescents. So that was something.
Oh, yeah, the pediatrician background.
Straight from the beginning.
Yeah.
I went to children and adolescents. I do see adults, but my passion will be the kids. They're our upcoming future. And I really like to help them work through anything they have and support them and shape them.
Nice. And age brackets?
I work with kids as young as 3 all the way up to adulthood.
All right. I'm going to need to be educated here. When you say as early as 3, what could be going on with a child that early that requires a professional to assist them?
So when it's that young, we're really going to be working with the parents or their caregiver. And sometimes we'll do a little thing called play therapy, because the way that children actually communicate is through play.
Yeah.
Especially that young. We'll start with some play
Even
therapy.
Even their anger and things like that
It'll
exposed in
it'll get exposed.
Playtime.
It'll all come out in playtime. So even as a parent, you can look and see what your child is doing. It might look like just regular play, but they're playing out their day.
Yeah.
I used to work in school-based, and a lot of times I would have a dollhouse, which represent where the kids are, and I'd find that a lot. Like, oh, I see that daddy's on the couch sleeping. Oh yeah, daddy's on the couch. Mommy and daddy had a fight. So it'll all come out.
So they're telling the story of the house through the playtime.
Through the play,
Interesting.
right? Because they get to create their world through their eyes, right? And so as a therapist, I'm creating that safe space for them to do so. And then I get to interpret what they're saying, and
interesting,
and so on and so forth.
And as far as the adolescence, I would assume, I mean, I can tell you my life, and I think you know part of my story.
Yes.
You know, from 5 to 15 years old, I tell people, like, I never wanted to know. I would remove anything and everything from my life that would bring me back to that ideology or that moment of my life. And I thank God I did, go through 2 amazing, incredible years of therapy. My journey was amazing, and what I've learned, and please help me educate, because a lot of people have that stigma still, like they think, they think therapy is weakness. They think therapy is for, the person that is mentally completely shattered, that oh, I'm broken if I gotta go. But we all require some therapy.
We all
no matter how perfect you are.
Right. We all require therapy. I say it's a tune-up, right? So we go every year to the doctor annually, sometimes a couple times a year. We go to the dentist twice a year, right? Maybe more. We see specialists. Think of therapy as like that. It's a tune-up for our
the software
mental
instead of the hardware.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Exactly. And therapy is the one place where you get to talk about you. And it's not frowned upon, right? Because in our society, talking about yourself after a while, we're like, all right, enough. It's the one place where it's dedicated to just you and anything that you want to talk about.
Let me hit you out with a comical moment. This girl right here is like, I don't want to talk about myself on camera. She's killing it right now. I mean,
Thank you.
Give some love on that comment.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, let's hop into another piece. You work with individuals in person and in virtual.
That is correct.
I understand providing the convenience of virtual, but what is the difference? Or if I were to say, does it make a difference? Is there one way better than the other? Help us out a little bit. If the individual has the ability to come to see you in person, would you recommend it, or would you say either way we're going to get the same results?
In person is definitely better. You are able to just shut the world out, right? Yeah. So for example, let's say I'm working with a child and there could be in a possibly hostile or abusive situation, right? We're trying to figure that out. It would be best to have them in person, right? Because you don't want the possible abuser to overhear what they're saying, and that could cause problems.
How do you separate the child from the abuser in the case that something is going on? I mean, does child services have to get involved? And I ask because there may be a spouse that's listening right now who may be saying, my child needs help, but the person that I'm living in is like, how can we facilitate the help to that individual?
That's a good question. We actually saw a lot of this during the pandemic, right? You think about it. Everyone was locked in
and stressed,
and they were locked in with their abusers. Where are we supposed to go? So if you suspect any form of child abuse, it doesn't have to be physical. It could be neglect as well. The best thing is to report it to DCP&P, which is Division of Child Protection and Permanency, formerly known as DYFS. And that number for New Jersey is 1877 NJ abuse. It's anonymous. They might ask you for your information to follow up. You do not have to give it. I'm going to stress that again. You can just say, I have concerns. This is, about this child, and give them all information that you have, location, and what the concern is. And you can say, I do not feel comfortable giving my contact information. And that's it.
And please, everybody, just understand everything that you're hearing right now. We're not giving you any medical advice or psychiatric, treatment. We are simply just sharing with you based on the information and the knowledge that Tatiana has had, any experience that I have dealt with. personally, one of the things, if I may dive, and this is selfishly for me, but I'll share with everybody. I was that child that was sexually abused at the age of 5 by our nanny. I was that
Wow.
child that was physically abused. That went through it all, and the shame that carries keeps you locked into your own body. And
Yes.
I didn't even talk about it with my parents. I was 27 years old.
Wow.
From 5 to 27,
That's
right?
a heavy burden that you were carrying.
It's not even a heavy burden, but it leads to making a lot of decisions because I was being the avatar. I was like, I'm happy. Everything is great. And if I feel like there is a bad person somewhere, I'll create all these distractions. I'm like, here, take a gift. And I end up making so many bad decisions, even as a grown up. I've worked with companies with no contract because I'm like, this is the father figure that I never had.
Yeah.
And then I'm taken advantage of, or I took, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I was like, yeah, I'll invest in your company. We don't have to do a contract. Here's
Wow.
all my money, because of the gaps of love and care and nurturing and shame that I'm thinking I'm going to buy the love, somehow, some way. That led to a lot of bad decisions. I share all this just to kind of give some context to the individual that's watching. But how can a person that is living with that heavy burden, that heavy weight, that agony, the shame, what is your message to that person? Like, reach out, text, smoke signal. Like, how can we get that person to feel confident enough to come out and seek help?
Know that everything is confidential, right? Except for, and this is the caveat, in times of safeties. In
You're
the case
about to hurt yourself or somebody
right,
else,
in the case of suspected abuse, suicidal, or homicidal thoughts, I will then have to break our confidentiality. Upon our first session, I will explain all of this in depth so that you understand what my limits of confidentiality are.
I remember when my doctor, I called my breaking point, Tatiana, this is like 4 years ago. And it's something that triggered everything ugly within me. And as happy as I am, as good of a relationship that I have with my wife, I kind of snapped. I mean, so much so I'm taking like the whiteboard from the basement and I'm smashing and I'm upset. And, this deal is going bad and I'm dealing with depositions. Oh, it was ugly. But here's what happened. On the top corner of the stairs, all I see is these little 2 feet. And it was Sebastian.
Yes, Sebastian.
And all I see, he's looking. And then I turn up and all I hear is him running upstairs. So I follow him to the 3rd floor of the house. And all I see him is hiding and crying. And I saw myself.
You saw the little you.
The little me that was crying. And I was like, oh my God, I'm repeating the pattern because it started like that with my father. But unfortunately, heavy drinking and a lot of bad things that were happening as well.
Yeah.
And that's when immediately I called my doctor. They were like, oh.
And that was the right choice because we repeat what we don't repair.
Yeah, 100%. And she told me straight up, she was like, okay, before you answer, be very careful, take a moment and think about your answer. Do you feel like you're going to hurt yourself or anybody in that house? Because whatever you say afterwards is going to determine my action.
Correct. Right. And so she's letting you know.
Yeah.
And that's true.
Yeah. So
I'm happy that you took that step. Right. That was major.
Thank God.
And thank you for sharing.
Of course. My scars are my signs of my heroism. I'm a superhero.
I like that. I see your cape.
Some of us get shy, because of like skin. It's my scars of, I've been there, done that, and I won, and I win every single day. And by the way, I don't think, and please educate, I don't think therapy fixes you. It just teaches you how to become happy again and cope with it, right?
It teaches you coping skills.
Yeah.
And depending on what kind of treatment, it could, I don't want to say fix because that implies that the individual is broken, but it could help just get that extra support to anything that you have going on. You can make sure that you're
be the best version, the happier version, to make better decisions.
Correct.
And also know how to cope. From my experience, I used to be easily triggered with certain elements, but now it's like, I'm like,
an aha moment when you realize that something that used to trigger you no longer does. It's freeing.
You know what it was for me is I always had this feeling that it's my fault.
It's never your fault.
Everything.
Right.
My father, my mother divorcing was my fault. My nanny taking advantage of me was my fault. My, homelessness, everything was always my fault. So I grew up with this mindset: when things go wrong,
it's your fault.
It's my fault.
And it wasn't, and it isn't.
So now when things go wrong, I'm like, that's not on me.
It's not on. Don't take that off. You have really broken the chains.
Thank God,
of all of that hurt and pain that you had been carrying around.
And I learned that it's okay to cry. I would hold my emotions because I'm supposed to be the
It's okay to cry. And we see that a lot. And like with masculinity, man, you guys are not taught. You're not socialized to be in touch with your emotions.
Come see me, bro.
Right?
We'll cry together.
And so having a good cry is what we need.
Yeah.
Right. And even in the cultural aspect, right? Speaking of the Black community, especially with Black masculinity, that's something. Oh, you're seen as weak. You're gay. There might be some slurs that are thrown around in there, but that's not the case. Crying just means that you're human. You've reached your breaking point, whatever that is. And it's time to reach out for help and support.
Word up. Hey, we're going to take 30 seconds to a minute. And when we come back from our break, we're going to dive into certain treatments that Tatiana provides and some fun success stories. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Still marketing your business like it's the Yellow Pages era? Welcome to ME Studios, where local solopreneurs and small business owners catch up with the digital world and take over it. We help you go from invisible to undeniable. Featured on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music. Plus, gain press exposure in over 100 to 300 major media outlets like Fox, ABC, CBS, NBC, and the CW. Right here in Eatontown, New Jersey, just steps away from the soon-to-be Netflix studios, our multi-unit facility is built for creators, entrepreneurs, and visionaries. Stop marketing like it's 1995. Start building your digital authority today. With a team that gets it.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Ali Midawi. This is the ME Show, and I have Tatiana Grant, the woman you're going to love to love. Hey, we're going to dive a little bit more into certain elements of treatment that Tatiana provides, but I just want to remind our viewers, we are not giving you any medical, psychiatric advice. We're just simply sharing with you the education and our personal experiences. So always check with your medical professional before making any decisions, or make sure you reach out to this young, beautiful lady. The link is in the description as well. Did I say all that right? I gave the disclaimer. Right?
That is correct. Yes, thank you for that disclaimer. That's very important.
I'm on point, baby. All right, let's talk about the type of treatments that you provide or you've worked with different individuals.
So one of the treatments I provide is called cognitive behavioral therapy, commonly known as CBT. And what that really focuses on is how your thoughts affect your behaviors or your actions, right? And so that's one that I really love. And then another one is eclectic. And so what that means is I tailor the treatment to the client that I'm working with. What works for one client may not work with another client. So on our journey together, I'm going to find out a little bit more about the client, and then I will tailor it to them.
Let me dive into that. Well, I remember my first 3 sessions with my therapist, and she was funny. Asbury Park, she'll laugh when she hears this. By the 3rd therapy session, I started opening up a little bit because, again, I came in with the mindset of, where's the bad guy? You're just like everybody else. You just want to take advantage of me just so you can clock some time.
Right.
And by the 3rd session, I don't know, it was something that we had an interaction. She's like, well, finally, you're starting to talk to me. I was like, what do you mean? I've been here, like, this is my 3rd time. She was like, yeah, but you're reading my computer screen. You're reading every one of my frames. You're looking for something like, I'm just glad you're talking to me finally. How do you get somebody to open up to you, especially they're coming into a stranger's environment? And the trust is not necessarily there from day one, or they're trying to give you their best version, because that's what I was doing. Right. I'm like,
so just know that as a therapist, we're trained in human behavior, and we can tell when you're just putting on your best face. We can tell about that. So we're not going to call you out, but we can tell. And,
you don't deserve an Emmy, buddy.
And to get someone to be comfortable, I do acknowledge the elephant in the room. Yeah. This is weird to come in and talk to a complete stranger about your deep, darkest secrets or whatever it is, right? That is strange. And so I acknowledge it. We joke about it. And I will let the person take the lead. I'm not here to be like, okay, session 1, I need to know this. I let them take the lead until they're comfortable.
I like that. Take the lead. Take that first step. You know what I love about it? It's like you take 1 step, Tatiana will take 2. You take 2, she'll take 4. Yes. You'll take 0, she'll still take 1, although she's bad at math.
Yes, thank you. And I will hold your hand through the entire process, so you'll never be alone.
All right. I think this is going to be your favorite part of the interview. Some success stories or your favorite story. Tell us a little bit about that.
So when I was, I call it a baby therapist, when I was first starting out.
Year.
A rookie, right? I had a client that I worked with, and she started out when she was about 12 or 13, maybe a little bit younger. And her mom struggled with substance abuse. So dad was not in the picture, and she pretty much lived with grandpa. So grandpa was the one that brought her in, and I would see her every single week. And she made so much progress. Then after a while, she stopped seeing me. She was not able to continue on for, various reasons. And then she found me again. And we started back up again together, and she continued on. And then she was discharged, which is great, right? When you're discharged, it's like you're graduating from therapy.
I hated that, by the way, when I got discharged. Because, it's like, okay, we're going to start seeing ourselves now every 2 weeks.
We
and
dropped
it's
that.
like once a month. I'm like, you're breaking up with me because I feel like you're pushing me away.
Yeah, because we know you're ready to fly.
Yeah.
So during the lockdown, I get an email. Right. The email had not changed since she's known me. So I get an email. At this point, this young lady is now 18, 19. She had graduated from college. She went on to cosmetology school, and she just wanted to reach out to let me know that she remembered all those years ago, the work that we had done together when she was 12 or 13. And that happens often. I love when, clients reach out. I explain to clients, once you're discharged, I cannot reach out to you. My information is the same, which is down in the link, and we'll talk about that later.
Yep.
And you can always give me some feedback on how you're doing. And they do. And they'll reach out years later. I had another client actually around December. Same thing. I had worked with this client and his mom when he was 7. And now he is going to be 11 actually in a few days. And mom just reached out just to say, hey, so-and-so wanted to let you know this is where I'm at. This is, all the things I've accomplished. And he remembered the work that we had done together. So it was
kudos
amazing.
to you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But really it's them. I can't take the credit. I hold that safe space for them to open up and to work through it.
And God bless you. I mean, I'm sure as heavy those sessions could be sometimes, when mission is accomplished, it's such a fulfillment that you have, that you helped somebody break out of that jail that they were living in, metaphorically speaking.
Absolutely. Yeah. And sometimes as a therapist, I don't know, right? Sometimes they don't come back. Whether because it could be financial, they move, it could be anything, right? They don't come back.
All right, I got a question for you because you said something that just my brain got hit with.
Shoot.
How do you cope with that heavy burden from people's? Because I remember it's like me as your patient, I'm taking all my heavy burden and I'm like, take all the negativity.
That's a great
now
question.
Take it home.
That's a great question.
So how do you maintain your smile when you get home from all that heavy load of, energy?
I don't take it home.
So tell us more.
What does that look like? So, as you know, I'm an athlete. I'm a physical person. So when I'm being physical, I'm not being emotional. When I'm emotional, I'm not being physical. So what that means is I love to work out. I go to the gym. That is where I let it all out. Right. And
she beats the crap out of those sessions.
I decompress. And also we're trained as therapists. We are trained on how to compartmentalize. Right. Now, not to say that I'm not human and I'm not going to feel. I've had some heavy cases,
I can only imagine.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think about it, but then I think I've done everything that I was trained to do. I helped the person. I made sure the person was safe, right? Which is a lot better than when they came into my office or came to see me.
Yeah.
I had my very first sexual abuse case. Oh my gosh, I cried. Because that was so incredibly heavy.
Yeah.
And I did everything that I needed to do. It went all the way up to the Monmouth County prosecutor's office. But the child was safe.
Thank God.
And at that point, we had to
disengage
for different reasons. But here's the thing. It came full circle because a few years later, I ended up seeing that same person in Passaic. In another facility. They were, unbeknownst to me, they were the relative of someone else that I was seeing, and I saw them in passing. And that was nice to see that this person was healthy. They were better.
In a good place.
Yeah, and we didn't have to exchange and be like, oh, she was in a good place. And so, thank you. It's things like that. But yeah, thank you. That's a good question because oftentimes people think that, we take everything and but no.
You got a miserable, dinner by yourself.
Yeah, no. Just finding things that bring you joy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So working out is something that brings me joy.
Refill the tank with happiness.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because who takes care of their caregiver when the caregiver is burned out?
Yeah.
So in order for me to fill your cup, I have to make sure my cup is filled. And then also as therapists, we have what's called supervision. And that's where we meet with other therapists. And we will discuss anything that could be hindering or impeding us with any cases that we're working with, anything that we need to work on. So if I'm like, this is a really tough case, and I will then speak with another therapist about it, and we'll get some dialogue and some feedback. And most therapists, especially if you're not in private practice, if you're working for an agency, you have supervision once a week.
So you kind of have somebody to kind of
Right.
bounce things off of.
Bouncing off of. And that's something that you're taught in school to
Yeah.
do. If I know I have a couple of therapist friends, I'll call them up. Hey, I have this case, and we'll talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's really where we can talk about if there's anything that's affecting us to appropriately do our job.
Yeah. Makes
Whether
total
it's
sense.
resources or countertransference, where I'm taking on something that's nothing to do with me, right? And then I'm putting it on the client. I'm not. I can't do that.
No, I get what you mean. Yeah.
So it could be something.
It's funny. I'm no therapist, but I consult for a lot of individuals and companies, and I tell my wife, like, look, I need your help. I need you to just listen to me and just let me. I gotta get this stuff out of my mind because I know I'm not 100%. Like I'm. My body language sometimes would speak. You know when you see people and you're like, you be like, you good?
You can tell they're tense.
Yeah,
Yes.
hey, man, like, what's up with you? You're not, so I don't ever want to go to because I'm like, these individuals are paying for an expectation and I got to meet or exceed that expectation. So I totally get that you got to be, with a full cup, as you said.
Yeah.
Still marketing your business like it's the Yellow Pages era? Welcome to ME Studios, where local solopreneurs and small business owners catch up with the digital world and take over it. We help you go from invisible to undeniable. Featured on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music. Plus, gain press exposure in over 100 to 300 major media outlets like Fox, ABC, CBS, NBC, and the CW. Right here in Eatontown, New Jersey, just steps away from the soon-to-be Netflix studios, our multi-unit facility is built for creators, entrepreneurs, and visionaries. Stop marketing like it's 1995. Start building your digital authority today with a team that gets it.
Let's talk about the industry of therapy and the Black therapist. Like Black Therapists Matter, right? We got a BTM shirt going here. Black therapists. What I feel like, and it's funny. I was talking to my wife. I'm like, if you anything on ChatGPT, if you put Black in front of the image does not come attractive or looking good or like it's automatically like a very not pleasant picture. Like I can put a couple and it'll be like a Caucasian happy couple. I'll put a Black couple and all of a sudden they're looking at each other like they're sad and miserable, and I'm like, that's crazy to me, right? So obviously that's ChatGPT, but in life,
it's also on Google too. You do
I'm
the same
100%.
thing in Google, it's there as well.
Does the Black therapist get the support and the opportunity? Because look, I'm keeping a buck with you right now, right? Again, regardless of your political views, I love you, but this is real. Right? I tell my wife all the time, I'm like, I recognize that I have to work 3 times as hard as the, blue-eyed blonde person
100%
to get a third of what he or she gets.
And that's if you even get the recognition.
It's been my life, my whole career. Like my whole career, I've operated like that. I'm like, all right, but I use it as an advantage. I'm like, okay, I know what I got to do. I just got to outwork you and I'm going to kick your butt.
Yes.
Is it the same exact circumstance for the Black therapist? Is the Black therapist missing out on some opportunities just for the simple fact that she or he is Black? That's a heavy question.
It is a heavy question.
Or what can we do to support the Black therapist? How about that?
So we exist. And I say that because historically, therapy in the counseling field has been largely white, right? And upper middle class white, right? So that then gives the image, like we were talking about with ChatGPT, therapist isn't for me. Therapy isn't for you, but that's not the case.
Almost like if it's a luxury item.
And that's for so long how it's been seen as a luxury item. Oh, you have nothing to complain about. It's not complaining, but we have things that we need to work through. There are different organizations, right, that help. And I think it's surrounding yourself and knowing your audience. And what I mean by that is there are going to be some people who are probably going to be turned off by my Black Therapist Matter shirt. It is what it is.
Get a cup of tea and then go to her website afterward to work on those issues.
But we need to know that representation matters, right? That's really important. I always say, right, if I'm looking for a Black therapist, sessions are 45 minutes. I don't want to spend 30 minutes of my time explaining my existence. That leaves 15 minutes. And I just have to explain to my therapist my existence. And then we have 15 minutes left
to work on the actual issues themselves.
That's not fair, right? So your experience, right, as an immigrant male is going to be different right? So you might be comfortable with somebody who understands your lived experience.
Oh,
right?
my first therapist was not my pick. Yeah, I had to, I didn't connect with my
And you
first
didn't
therapist.
connect.
No,
So
no.
it's like you're not getting any work done,
No.
right? So it's not just about Black therapists. You can have therapists for gender, right? I'm a woman. You're a man. I can try to understand your lived experience.
But the
as a man.
relatability might not be
But
there.
it might be
Yeah.
different, right?
Yeah.
You're going to have a different experience as opposed to if you had a male. And that's okay, right? So representation matters. That's something that we seem to be shying away from right now.
Just as a whole in general, still, you would say?
Yeah, representation always matters.
Yeah.
And I have clients who will literally seek me out because I'm Black. Now, let me be clear. I will work with anybody. You don't have to be Black, but I have clients who will say, oh my gosh.
Because of comfort.
Because of comfort.
Yeah.
You understand, right? I have clients who say they will talk about the angry Black woman trope at work. That doesn't have to be explained to me. I understand it. I've been there. So, okay, this is what you're experiencing and we can work through that. Maybe someone who doesn't understand what that means. So now you got to spend more than half the session explaining that. You're going to walk away unfulfilled.
Yeah. Yeah. And as if you wasted your time.
Your time, right? Just like you might be comfortable with a client who speaks your language because, hey, maybe there's just certain things that you just can't express yourself
that's the best way that you can describe it.
In English, but in whatever your native language is, you can express it.
I had a client that was pushing back on faith. My name is Ali. People automatically assume Muslim. And then I'm like, oh no, Catholic. They're like, wait, what? And it's almost like, but, and they want to get into, I had one lady, Layla. I love you, Layla. We had a good, fun conversation. She goes, I read the whole New Testament and it makes no sense. There's nothing in there about Jesus being the Son of God. And, and I was like, cool. She was like, and it doesn't bother you. You're still gonna, I'm like, can I ask you a question? Like, yeah. I'm like, do you speak Arabic? She's like, no. I'm like, then how can you understand a book that is written with a language you can't speak? And your intention of this conversation is to prove me wrong. I have no desire to prove you right or wrong. I love you, and that's my faith.
That's it.
I'm supposed to love you no matter what. So I think it's important to understand for anybody who feels some type of way. Again, I love everybody equally. I know we all have some kind of views politically, some morals or core values, but at the end of the day, I love you and one day you'll find out, right? And just like you go crazy screaming on your screen every Sunday on a football team that will never do anything for you, there are some people who will scream for their own missed opportunities. I, again, work 3 times as hard till this day. Ali Midawi that you can Google and people brag about. I work 3 times as hard to get a third of the average individual out there. That is a fact.
And I can say, because I've known you for so long, I've seen it.
Oh, yeah, you already know.
I remember when you used to work in the airport, right?
Yeah.
Like, I remember you grinding from the
my God, I can't believe you witnessed that, too.
Yes. And I used to come every time that I would travel, I would look you up. I'm like, okay, I know Ali's around here someplace. And we always made sure that we had lunch, whatever time of day it was. I remember that, right? Like, you just grind from the beginning, from high school straight until now. Yeah. But your success it's
God
here.
Is good.
God is good. We've seen it. But that is the reality. We do have to work twice as hard as our white counterparts. That's just a reality. And then that's
and I love you, but listen, that's not a victim mindset. It's reality. If the right foot is broken and you're like, well, both feet matter, right? Again, please don't go political on me. And if you say both feet matter, yes, both feet matter, but this one right here is broken.
Right.
We gotta pay attention to this one. It's broken. Yeah, but both feet matter. Yes, dude. Yes, I need both feet. But this one is broken.
That's what the focus is on, right? Oh, just like, you can pull yourself up by the bootstraps. Well, not everybody has boots.
Yeah.
Not everybody has the straps to pull themselves up.
I get it. So. And I think if people were to be curious enough about what they don't understand, empathy automatically kicks in. I think there's
100%.
this insecurities and fear of what people don't know, and they automatically assume. An assumption is the mother of all mess ups. Yes, I kept that PG-13. It's very important for people to understand, that I have different things that I look at every single day that you might not agree with. But if you are curious enough to get to know me as much as I'm curious enough to get to know you, as much as you're curious enough, do you know how much, that's what makes a community a community?
And our lived experiences is what makes us beautiful.
Absolutely.
We're going to have different lived experiences. It doesn't make one better
as
or
we
less.
Should.
it's just different journeys.
I don't remember who said it, but I use this with my son. My son is 8.5 now, and he's discovering the world that me and you lived, right? He's
Right.
like, Papa, I'll never forget it. He was in kindergarten. It was just 4 years old. We were, and he has this buddy of his, and my brother-in-law and I are talking, and Sebastian goes like, "This is my twin." Yeah, about his buddy. So I took a picture and I sent it to my brother-in-law. I'm like, Sebastian says this is his twin. Now his buddy, Sean, at the time, is African American. I mean, dark skin.
Yeah.
And Sebastian looks at him and is like, "He's my twin." He insists we are twins. We
Right.
look alike because the innocence of a child.
Right.
So my brother-in-law goes like, "Sebastian, he's a black kid." He goes like, "He's not black." He goes like, "What do you mean? What is black?" And he started arguing about like, why are you
Yeah.
identifying a skin color?
Right.
Here's my twin. Because the innocence of a child, he saw the genuine love that he
Yeah,
has
he
for his
just
friends.
loves his friends.
Imagine if we were to focus on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
What kind of world would we be?
Back to therapy.
How
Okay.
did you had your own mini therapy session?
Yeah, man, this was great. This was great. Like, you see, I told we could do this for a while. Okay, so look. We've covered a whole lot today. We talked about the population that Tatiana focuses on, the children and the adolescents. We talked about that she does personal and virtual sessions, and you are welcome to do both, whatever is convenient and comfortable for you. We talked about the different treatments from CBT to electric. We talked about the fun success story and many more to come. We even covered some of the areas such as how she handles that heavy weight and how she's like, "Nope, these bags are staying outside my house. I'm not bringing you in," and how she copes so she can have her cup full at all time. And of course, representation matters, not from the political noise that Fox against CNN is pinning us all the people. No. It's from the simple fact that the truth matters. And the truth is, people that look like me and look like Tatiana, we work 3 times as hard to get a third of the opportunities and the revenue. Now, we say, "Oh, I know the secret now. I'm going to kick your butt. I just got to work 3 times as hard." But imagine if life is good. And then tomorrow I say, "Now you have to work 3 times as hard to get a third." You're probably going to say, "That's not fair." If we were to exchange roles, you're probably like, "I don't want that."
That would be very interesting.
And that is why we're having this conversation. It is not about political views, but about human views. It's about just core values. You say, "Don't judge me by my skin or my color." All right, cool. Then let me have the same opportunities you have. And that's why there are certain elements that you might not agree with politically that are in place to force certain opportunities that we would never have otherwise. How can the people connect with you? Obviously, you have your website. We're going to put it in. You got a special offer for our listeners or anybody that needs assistance. Yes.
Correct. So you can contact me through Psychology Today, which is, I always joke, it's the Google of therapists. And you can type that in. That's PSYCHOLOGYTODAY. And then you can put in my name, Tatiana Grant. So that's T as in Tom, ATIANA, Grant, GRANT. I'm located out of Fairhaven, New Jersey, and you will then be able to find my information. My phone number is there too. That's 732-902-0156.
You got the digits.
You got the digits. And for those of you who do call me, I will be offering a 15-minute free consultation. And that's to see if we will, be a good fit and make sure that I'm helping you out in the right area. If I'm not the right fit, then I will provide resources and referrals for you. So
either way, it's a win-win.
It's a win-win.
It's a win-win. All right. As we're coming close to the end of our interview, any final thoughts and remarks for our audience, our listeners, or anybody that may be still shying away from asking for help?
If you are still shying away from asking for help, the question is, what are you afraid of? It's going to be you and a trained clinical professional in the room. It's no cameras, it's no recordings. It's just a conversation to help better you. You get to bring in whatever it is that you need, and I'm here to support you.
And the funny thing is, I told her when she was coming here, there will be no cameras, no microphones. It'd be I'm just messing. I'm just messing. I am so proud of you and so grateful for you.
Thank you. I received that. I appreciate it.
Everything that you've become and the journey that you've had. I'm proud of you and grateful for the fact that you are literally helping people, because I have a very special appreciation for therapy because of what it's done for me.
Yeah.
So I do know what you are doing, and you are an unsung hero in our area. And I wanted to make sure that the world gets to know how great you are. And
Thank you.
Please feel free to reach out All the information is in the comments, in the description itself. And if you have any questions, any of the content that we're putting out, we're going to make sure that Tatiana is tagged on it. So at any point you comment with a question, she can reach out to you directly and say, hey, I saw your question. I can't answer it publicly, but let's talk. Is that okay with you?
Sure.
We got the green lights. That's called a hookup. We got so many golden nuggets out of this interview. McDonald's across the street is going to sue us. Ladies and gentlemen, I go by the name of Ali Madawi. She is Tatiana Grant, both alumni of Mount Regional High School. I hope we made y'all proud today. And I will see you on the next episode. Peace.
Still marketing your business like it's the Yellow Pages era? Welcome to ME Studios, where local solopreneurs and small business owners catch up with the digital world and take over it. We help you go from invisible to undeniable. Featured on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music. Plus, gain press exposure in over 100 to 300 major media outlets like Fox, ABC, CBS, NBC, and the CW. Right here in Eatontown, New Jersey, just steps away from the soon-to-be Netflix studios, our multi-unit facility is built for creators, entrepreneurs, and visionaries. Stop marketing like it's 1995. Start building your digital authority today with a team that gets it.